Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and we are back with another episode of Bad Ideas with Bianca. Today we're going to talk about cancel culture versus accountability, and we're going to kind of use examples as most people have been using lately when it comes to Gina Carano and Whoopi Goldberg, and dive into those topics. So, warning, we may be talking a little bit about what people may be easily offended over, rightfully so. But how are you today, Bianca?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I went back and forth the other day on whether or not to make a video about this because a lot of people were talking specifically about the Whoopi Goldberg situation.
Mhm.
And I do think there's definitely cancel culture that's undeniable. A lot of it is accountability and a lot of it is, in my opinion, is hyperbole. Like, Dave Chappelle's canceled. Not really. No, he's not. Not even a little bit. So, where do you kind of stand on the whole situation when it comes to cancel culture versus accountability?
I feel like a majority of the times it's for like accountability because they look up like stuff like 15, 20 years ago and you're like, oh, you just want them to realize what they did and say something about it. But then they end up saying sometimes like, oh, I want this person to lose their job over it. And I'm
Right.
just like, okay, that is no longer accountability. They can't get fired for something they did 20 years ago or whatever. That's just weird.
But they
Though
still do. That's the
they
crazy
still
part.
do.
It's ridiculous because I think it was maybe 2 years ago. It was shortly after the death of George Floyd. I know they looked up some pretty hefty tweets from Hartley Sawyer. He played Elongated Man on The Flash. Now, I don't watch The Flash. I don't care about it. But it began this whole like weird snowball effect. Do you know who Sky Jackson is by chance?
Yes. I
She
watched her
just
in Hey Jesse on Disney Channel.
she just had like it out for the world. I don't know if she was going through something or what, but she would found the Hartley Sawyer stuff. And then she would go through like kids at college. Kids down to like 14 years old, calling them out and doxing them. That
Yeah.
is
And
wrong.
I've the fact that I've saw like whether teenagers or adults defending them defending her, saying, "Oh, well, she's just trying to find and call out racism." And I'm like, "This is a 12-year-old kid. You have to
Exactly.
realize that they can be very sensitive when they're very young, you
And dumb.
know?"
Kids are dumb. They're going to say dumb things for the shock factor. So instead of, when it comes to that situation, I think it's shaming is not the way to go, right? Like education, I've always said there has to be a path to redemption. There has to be a path to some sort of, hey, you said something that was pretty wrong. Let me tell you why it's wrong. And whether it's an apology or what, but that's it. But when it comes to kids, if you call them out at that age, you're only going to make them worse, in my opinion. Like they're going to feel dumb and then go take a hard right. Do you know what I mean? But that's regardless. Let's talk about the situation at hand and whether it is kind of. I did see a lot of people saying this was liberal privilege, and I don't think you can compare apples to apples when it comes to this situation. But to kind of preface anything when it comes to Whoopi Goldberg, what she said was wrong, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but she fundamentally got things wrong when it comes to Judaism, Jewish people as a race.
Yeah. I I'm like, I don't understand how you can still be confused as somebody from your age.
Yeah, and you know what? I think a lot of people look at race as simply a difference in skin color when it's not. Jewish people have ties to their land, their culture is ingrained, and when it comes to race, there's a lot of it is a social construct, but these people don't deserve to have ignorance kind of spewed on their behalf. I feel like at this point, you should probably know what different races are. Like, I am much younger than Whoopi Goldberg. She's got me by 30 years. But with that being said, I know that Jewish people are a race, and I wouldn't make it. I feel like she kind of otherized them in the sense that she made it so grandiose by saying it's humanity versus evil humanity, how they treat each other. That could be, and look at any sort of situation. Humanity treats each other like shit all the time. This was a special occasion that needs not forgot. And for some reason, it seems like there's a lot of people forgetting what has actually gone on, including her herself. And I to this day, when it comes to the Gina Carano stuff, I still go back and forth on it because what she said was really dumb. But she never apologized either. And I think that's the biggest difference in this situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You might have to add another celebrity on there.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
Roseanne Barr.
Oh, yeah. Didn't she get like high on Ambien and then say some dumb shit?
Probably.
Oh,
I think it was Twitter.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I actually didn't know about this.
I remember the situation, but I don't remember didn't she compare a black person to a monkey or something like that? Valerie Jarrett, an African-American woman who was a senior advisor to Barack Obama, and Roseanne wrote, if Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby. What?
It's the one I found says that ABC took her off the air in part due to her vocal support of then President Donald Trump.
Who is the source?
Yahoo News.
Wow.
There's even a quote from her. All of Hollywood, they just hate him, and they hate those of us who like him. There's no way around it. So yeah, I think they took me off because I liked him, and I liked him because I'm a Jew and he likes Israel. When did he say he liked Israel?
I don't know. I don't think anybody should be taken off a show or anything like that when it comes to who they vote for. That's ridiculous. But if you're looking at a black woman and say something about Planet of the Apes, then I gotta say you're probably the evil one. Just gonna put that out there. Like, that's a really fucked up thing to say. There's no two ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whether they are a Democrat or a Republican, that's fucked up.
Well, I mean, if it was just like her support of Donald Trump, I don't think that she should be fired for it. For Gina Carano, she posted something on Instagram. Was it that thing where she was comparing conservatives to?
I actually brought it up so I could show
dang
it. I was prepared
that
for
one.
once.
That's so cool how you did that.
It's just I put it under overlays instead of like pictures. Yeah, she did come out and say she didn't. Like, I have this too. Let me show you. She did come out and say she didn't. She shared a meme. It translated into "Don't let the government pit you against each other." Nowhere did I say Republicans were being treated like Jews in the Holocaust.
Wait, what? Are you?
That is from this last week, or actually 2 days ago. But if you read this, I'm sorry, that's what it reads like to me.
That's what I thought it was. And I'm trying to be like unbiased, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get like the good side, the bad side, and I'm reading this and I'm like, well, apparently it's hard to tell your tone in writing, I guess.
It is, but if so many people are reading it the same way, it is not that hard to come out and be like, hey, that's not what I meant. Here's what I meant, and I apologize. But she never, like this one that I showed you was only 2 days old, where she clarified what she meant. I don't know personally if she apologized. I never seen it. From what I know, she was fired from Disney and then went like immediately to the Ben Shapiro network. This to me reads like she's comparing it. And even at that, I still defended her, saying, I don't ever want to call for somebody's job. That's not who I am. I think people should be able to say and vote for who they want. But in this situation, it looks really bad, especially after. So, do you remember when everything kind of started with the fire Gina Carano stuff?
Yeah.
It was like she put beep bop boop in her bio. And she was going to, like, I guess basically thought it was funny, like mocking pronouns, right? She didn't realize she was mocking it. But then one person said she was mocking it, which led to a snowfall of people saying she was transphobic, which led to her getting upset and feeling like she's being bullied by the trans community. And it was just a bunch of hyperbole when I don't actually think she meant anything cruel to begin with at all. And then she got bullied, and then it snowballed from there. And then she shared some stuff really close to right after the election. I would say like November 5th, 6th, 7th area about election sovereignty and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that was really propagating the big lie stuff, because that was the only post that I could personally see. But it was a lot of weird stuff, like right after another stuff, making fun of mask mandates. I don't care. Make fun of it. It's stupid, right? Like, go ahead. That doesn't bother me. But she got on people's radar very clear because a lot of people were seeing it as very right-leaning talking points. And again, tried to get her, canceled. And that was kind of the final nail in the coffin. But then again, if we start canceling people for political ideology, we become everything we don't want to be, right? We become the enemy, because that's not something we should be practicing. But if you're truly comparing, which I don't know, it's so hard to take. You can't compare Republicans to Jewish people. You just can't do that. That's so demeaning to Jewish people. And it's not just her. Like, it's not just a right problem. It's a left problem a lot of the times. Like, how many times have you heard people call each other Nazis?
A lot. I've even heard some people say that the way blacks are treated is almost similar to Jewish people. And I said, well, hold up.
What?
Right there. And I'm like, please think about what you're saying.
Wow, that's terrible. Like, Black people don't necessarily have it as easy sometimes, but to compare it to being rounded up in the streets, hung, and oh boy, why would okay, yeah, we're not gonna dive too much into that, but like at some point, how does this become cancel culture or accountability? Kind of bring it full circle now that we've talked a little bit about, everything. Judaism, being Jewish is a race. That was wrong what she said.
It's
she
on the rage, you said?
It's a race. I'm sorry. It's my list. I apologize. But she apologized. Is it liberal privilege that she's getting only a 2-week suspension, do you think?
I have no idea if it's a privilege, but I actually prefer the 2-week suspension over being fired, because it allows them to what's it called? Think about what they've done to see if they can improve. I already saw that Whoopi Goldberg apparently apologized.
Yeah,
but I didn't see the apology yet. So I'm like,
I think it's on her social media.
So I guess I'll check on her Twitter if she wrote it there. If she has one, I don't know.
I'm thinking that's where it's at. I read it through New York Times, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it came from her Twitter.
Cool. I'll search it up later. I don't want Restream to take out my mic again.
Right.
Funny. For Gina, I feel like hers could also have been like a 2-week suspension. even if she said it wasn't, that's what literally everybody thought. And people on the right were agreeing with her. And I'm just like, but are you Jewish though? No, okay. and and I follow a lot of those people too, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna comment on this at all. For what's her freaking name? I just said her name. Rosanna? Roseanne.
Roseanne
Thank you.
Barr.
Yeah, if she really got taken off the air just because she supported, like, wanted to support Donald Trump or whatever, then, you know, I don't think she should have been fired for that or even have a suspension. If it was for something else, I don't know. I would have to, like, look into it or something like that. But again, if it was just like, oh, hey, I support Donald Trump or whatever, I don't think she should get fired for that, nor a suspension. That's just, hey, I support this person, whatever.
And I'll send you the link here after, but from my understanding, it was because she called Valerie James Planet of the Apes meets the Muslim Brotherhood.
Who?
So
what was it again?
Valerie James, she was a senior advisor to Barack Obama during the presidency. And
so was she calling her ugly?
She was saying that she was black and she looked like an ape. Yeah. Yeah. That it's gross. Like, if that I could understand getting fired for, like, they don't, it's not, go to work. Anybody that's listening,
overly racist.
Very overly racist. Like, anybody go to work and try to say that to your boss. See what happens.
Oh my
You're gonna get fired.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and a lot of people try to equate it to her just voting for Trump, and it wasn't. It was her comments about, well, Valerie James. And there's a lot more to the story when people actually start to open it up. And I think that the only way really moving forward, and I know a lot of people don't like my ideals on this, but there absolutely has to be some sort of path to redemption. Like, there's no reason why Gina Carano, who made her career fighting and then going into Hollywood, working in stuff like Deadpool and The Mandalorian, of course, shouldn't be able to get back in the Hollywood spotlight. There has to be a road to redemption. There does. And I don't think that necessarily there is at this point. I think people, once you're kind of that problematic figure, people don't want to work with you. And I understand it. And I like Gina, and I think she's talented. I think she was part of the best. the very few things I watched of Star Wars, I watched The Mandalorian. And she was great in it. She did a great job. But at the same time, you have to understand not people not wanting to work with her when you compare being Jewish to being Republican, even though I know she has came out and said, like I said, I showed this, where she said, people don't have given up on research. Nowhere did I say it. No, you did not say it, but you alluded to it, right? And everybody thought the same thing. If you wanted to clarify, you should have done it immediately after.
She should have put LOLJK at the end.
Or, I mean, that I'm sorry,
worry,
that's how it read. Or just, like, not said something after she shared a bunch of stuff that made people mad. She was already on the radar. I kind of feel like maybe she knew she was on her way out. And she was like, I'm going out my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, especially since she was warned. She
Multiple
was like,
so much so that she did that interview with Ben Shapiro that I watched shortly after she was fired. She said they even, like, had to sit down with her and she was supposed to have a conversation. And that's where I think you can solve a lot of these things, is just by having a face-to-face conversation. But unfortunately, that's so lost upon our world because everybody just gets into screaming matches over Twitter or over social media. Whereas nobody actually sits down and has a conversation with somebody with different ideas than them because they don't want to hear it. They want to hear the same things they like over and over again. And it's really smart to know the other side of the argument, because maybe there's a good point in it. Maybe there's a good reason why somebody lives that way or feels that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The whole situation is so wonky. I feel like it's a case-by-case basis when it comes to cancel culture versus accountability. Because sometimes situations like even bringing up stuff like Amber Heard, those are crimes. We're talking about crimes, not who you voted for. But when it comes to, still, again, with stuff like Harvey Weinstein, those are crimes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the differences of ideals can be talked through if people actually put in the homework and actually did the work.
Yeah, putting in the work is something that people just don't like to do nowadays.
It's very weird to me because before all of this, we didn't know before, I guess, Twitter had basically a direct line to your favorite celebrity. We didn't know their ideals. When in the 90s, say. So you didn't know their political party, you didn't know their affiliation, you didn't know what they thought of, what they had for breakfast, or what, sharing pictures of their kids. You didn't know that kind of stuff. You watched a movie, you enjoyed it. You picked out your favorite actors because they were good at their job, and it was kind of the end of it. And very rarely, maybe some like speeches, if they won an Emmy, they'd say something, or but everything has gotten so politically divisive now. It does feel like, realistically, there is more acceptance of liberal idealism and left-leaning ideas than there is of right-leaning. You know what I mean?
I hope so.
And it's like, you kind of look at both sides and you're like, huh. Well, on one side, I have, free healthcare and social democracy and stuff like this, and on the other side, I have fascism. Like, it's very hard to look at it and not kind of understand why. But then again, everybody, we were born in, a place where we're supposed to have openness of conversation and openness of ideals, and it kind of feels like, compared to, well, it's 2022, even 20 years ago, that's kind of dead.
Oh yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
And I don't know if there's a way back. I really don't know if there's a way back. Now, if you said some, like, going back to the Roseanne thing, I'm kind of like, yeah, well, you made your bed. You know what I mean? Like,
and you lost.
Sorry, that's not okay to say. Like, never is that okay to say. And the more I think about it, and I originally came out very much so on Gina's side, but like, the more I think about it, the more it irritates me. It's like, for one, you are born Jewish, just like you are born Black, just like you are born white. Those things are something that are non-changeable. But being a Republican, like, what? You weren't born in the Republican Party. And if you if it really got to that choice, you need to, it's not. What? Oh. Have you seen the weird comparisons? Like, oh my God. I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene comparing the unvaccinated to wearing like the gold star in the Holocaust.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. It people comparing wearing, in the Holocaust, how they had to wear the yellow star to show that they were Jewish. That's what they're trying to say now that the unvaccinated feel like.
I'm trying to process.
I know! It doesn't make any sense to me. Why people always draw to the Holocaust is kind of abhorrent. Like, I don't know. It's a fucked up situation. That's why I'm like, hey, you know what? Comic books. Let's talk about superheroes. And it's like, yeah, it's so much easier, but these topics are so ingrained in our culture. People are always talking about it, and I'm like, should I dive into these on my channel? No, because I can guarantee this video is going to irritate some people. But I guess I never shied away from irritating people. That's for fucking sure.
Some people agree, some people won't. Some people yes but no, or no but yes. Yeah.
But my problem is we're at such a divisive America that you have to agree or you do not belong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's not how the world works. You do not agree with everyone, like one single person out there 100% on everything. It's just not how it works. And that's why I always go back to conversation, because a lot of things can be solved sitting here talking to you or looking somebody in the eyes and talking to them. A lot of times through, like with the post, through text, you don't know what somebody's inflection is, somebody's tone, whether they're being demeaning or they're being pandering. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I think when it comes
I'm
to
sorry, I disagree then.
No. Now you're banned. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, when it comes to all this, I think it just goes down to case by case basis. I don't think there's really any way you can say it is for sure cancel culture or for sure accountability culture without looking at each individual account.
And then do like 15 to 20 minutes to an hour research of every single side. Be like, ah, yes, I see.
I know, that's what sucks. I'm not kidding. Like, in order to do, just look up the stuff about Whoopi Goldberg so I knew what I was talking about when I came on here. I have to get a Jewish version. You know, man, I'll put it in the pinned comment. It was a really good video. And then get, you know, regular media or say mainstream media, and then get, oh my God, it's like, there's no news anymore that's just unbiased. There's no news that just reports the news as is, because you've got your CNNs, your Fox Newses, and then you've got your YouTubers of the world. It's like,
that's why I don't listen to any news.
That's smart. That's smart. Again, this is why it all goes back to, hey, Batman. Yeah. Batman's a cool guy.
We got dinosaurs. Just
dinosaurs. What do you think of the dinosaurs?
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's by Daniel Warren Johnson too. That's so good.
Yes. Didn't he have to get his Dead Earth? Bill.
And it's the artist from Dead Earth.
Yes.
Oh yeah, dinosaurs. That's the end of this video. That's the moral to take away from everything. Dinosaurs.
Like, my hope was, I was like, Wonder Woman better be a freaking Triceratops. Like, she is. And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, oh man, so Batman's going to be a T-Rex. They're like, no, he's an Allosaurus. And I'm like, yes. And I specifically love that they said, well, if he was a T-Rex, he'd be too overpowered. And I'm like, you got it. You know what you're doing. Thank you.
I giggled through the whole thing because I'm like, this is so weird, but it can work so well. It can work. The only thing is, the design for Superman looks very weird to me. I'm hoping when they show some art. I was like,
why does he look so familiar? And then you said dolphin, and I'm like, oh, I can see that.
It does.
But he looks so non-menacing, and I'm like, oh, I love that. He looks adorable.
Like, he's got to be a herbivore. He's gonna fight last, right? He's gonna try to, hey, go through conversation. There we go. We brought it all around there.
Yeah.
That's funny. So thank you so much, Bianca, for joining me today. Even though this one was a little bit, controversial. I appreciate it.
I was gonna say glitchy, but
yeah, glitchy works too. But I'll edit the glitches out. They'll never know. Okay, they'll probably know a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. If you do it as a premiere, it'll be completely normal, like it's alive.
That's right. That's funny. So, awesome. Yes, thank you. Make sure you guys check out Bianca's channel. I will have that in a wonderful video from a Jewish man talking about the Whoopi Goldberg situation in the pinned comment, so you guys can check it out.
Gonna watch
really
that.
Good videos. Yeah, I'll send it to you after.
Yay.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.